Okay, let us close the eyes for a moment. Remembering God who is omnipresent, remembering the masters, we will pray together. Om Sahana
सहनाववतु
Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahe Tejasvi Navadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. May God protect us all. May God nourish us with wisdom and knowledge. May we meditate and pray together. May there be no discord among us. May there be more love and peace within and everywhere. Om. Amen. I bow to omnipresent, all-pervading divinity. I bow to all the saints and sages of all times and places. On this special day of Guru Purnima, full moon day, I humbly bow to Sage Vyasa and Sage Patanjali, and I bow to lineage of Kriya Yoga masters and all of you, the living presence of God. Good evening or good afternoon. We have been discussing the Yoga Sutra of Patanjali. In our previous class, we discussed about the Ekatattva Abhyasa, 9 obstacles, and how to remove these 9 obstacles. Sage Patanjali has recommended in Sutra number 32, where he said, Tat pratishedhartham ekatattva abhyasah. To remove these obstacles, one has to practice following one principle, one truth. Now today we'll discuss that these obstacles we can remove, but mind is still impure, because on day-to-day basis, when we are working, we always collect impressions, some good impressions, some not good impressions. And these samskaras or impressions, when they go to our subconscious mind and they become the vrittis, that they lead to many more thought patterns, vrittis. So mind constantly receives good or bad thoughts. So also the samskaras, the impurities we always collect. So now question comes that without attaining purity of mind, we cannot attain samadhi, because we are discussing the goal of our life as samadhi. This book is based on that. So the first book is about the samadhi. Now, what should we do when our mind is impure? Not only we have to practice some techniques, but here Sage Patanjali is elaborating a little more. So what he's saying in the next sutra, which is sutra number 31. Sutra number 33, because 32 we have already discussed. So Sutra 32, then 33 says, Maitri Karuna Mudit Upekshanam Sukha Dukha Punya Apunya Vishayanam Bhavanata Chitta Prasadanam. So there are 4 different attitudes Sage Patanjali is recommending in different situations. He's saying purification of the mind is attained by practicing the attitude of friendliness, which is Maitri, compassion, Karuna, Mudita, complacency, which is Mudita, and indifference towards the to indifference is the upeksha. Now, these four attitudes in four conditions or situations we have to practice. So these are the four situations he is mentioning: sukha, dukkha, punya, and apunya. That means happiness, misery, virtue, and vice. So, what does it really mean? We'll discuss a little bit more to understand it. When says Patanjali is saying the different situations, although Lahiri Mahasaya has given a beautiful correlation between these, he says, make friendship with happiness, have compassion in suffering, contentment in virtues, and indifference for vices. So with such attitude, when a person meditates on the self-luminous Brahman, the Absolute, then the mind is pacified. Human life is a rare opportunity for divine evolution. It demands sincere effort. As Sage Patanjali said, through the practice of Eka Tattva, one truth, obstacles are eliminated. Along with this comes the manifestation of divine qualities. Thus, the mind gradually being purified and sublimated is able to think of friendliness, compassion, complacency, and indifference towards happiness, misery, virtues, and vice. So, for attitude, Maitri, friendliness towards whom? So, the attitude of friendliness towards those who are happy. So, anybody we see around us is happy, so we should have friendly attitude with them. Anyone who is suffering around us or going through pain or misery, then we should have karuna. That means compassion towards those who are miserable. Those who are mudita, very cheerful toward because of virtues or good qualities. So we should maintain cheerfulness towards them. And those who are wicked people, those who are apunya means those who are not so good people, so keep an attitude of indifference towards them. So these are the four situations and four types of attitude one has to follow so that our mind will not go to impurity. Now you'll ask that what is impurity? So there are 6 kinds of impurities of our mind. What are those 6 impurities? Again, when we go into detail of this, so Sage Patanjali has explained very little about that, but we'll go for more detail about these 6 kinds of impurities. These 6 impurities, they are known as 6 kalushya. And these kalushya impurities of mind, these are the reactions based on rajas and tamas. As we had discussed before, the mind goes through one of the states like tamasic, rajasic, or sattvic state. So based on our rajas and tamas, those qualities of mind, we develop 6 type of impurities. These are just reactions to situation. And there are 4 natural states of mind, which Sage Patanjali is mentioning as sukha, dukkha, punya, apunya. These are natural states like comfort, suffering, virtuousness, and non-virtuousness. And 6 types of impurities. And how to get rid of these impurities? So we have to just think opposite, means reaction based on sattva can remove these impurities. So here in this sutra, it is elaborated that first let me tell you about these impurities, then we can discuss how to get rid of these. So when we say this impurity, one first is raga kalushya, impurity of attachment. What does it mean? After experiencing happiness with the feeling of affection, the thought comes to mind. What is the thought? Let this happiness may always be with me. This is called raga kalushya vratti. That means we want to always hold on to that good experience or feeling of happiness. It's not necessary because as the time changes, emotion changes, mind changes, we cannot hold on to that. But this attachment to that good experience also is Raga Kalushya. Why it is impurity? Because a yogi has to be free from all the different types of emotions. So Raga Kalushya Vritti is due to Rajas quality, because non-achievement of the objects of happiness impure the mind and makes it more restless. So when there is happiness, we get attached to that. This is Raga Kalushya. Then Irsha Kalushya number 2. Irsha Kalushya is the burning sensation generated in the mind. And how does it generate? By looking at the good qualities or wealth of others. It is called Irsha Kalushya, otherwise known as jealousy. So when somebody is progressing, somebody has good qualities or very wealthy, so the thought comes to the mind that why this person? So this Irsha or jealousy developed. This is called Irsha Kalushya, impurity. And it makes the mind restless and impure. So one whose mind is burning with jealousy or envy perceives more on the other's plate. And there's a beautiful saying, the grass on the other side always looks greener. This is Irsha or jealousy. And these are very common impurities. We all have a little bit more or less. Third impurity of mind is Parapakar Chikirsha Kalushya. That is called hatred. Parapakar Chikirsha Kalushya, hatred. It is the desire to talk bad about others or cause suffering to others. This is called apakara. To have a thought of talking bad about others or causing suffering to others, this is called hatred, or blaming others. It makes the mind turmoil and impure. So this is third one, impurity, hatred. Then fourth impurity is called asuya kalushya. Asuya means to find fault with others' good qualities. For example, to know a person who is following some vows as proud. Suppose a person says that, okay, every day I have fixed time for meditation, so I'll not pay attention to any other thing. And he feels proud that, okay, I am following my vows. I'm following my promise or resolution. So knowing that this is a proud of a person or a man or a person of good conduct, and then thinking about that person, oh, he's a hypocrite. And accusing the person wrongly is asuya kalushya. So this accusation, and it is asuya also is related to anger, feeling anger that why this person is so proud. However, so in this asuya kalushya, anger also, our mind becomes impure by imagining bad quality in others. So person is good, but we are imagining some bad quality and trying to find fault in his good qualities even. Oh, he is just showing that he is so virtuous. He is showing that he is so charitable or very religious. Person has nothing to do with that. But this is our impurity of mind that we try to find fault. And this is called asuya. Then fifth impurity is dvesha kalushya. So dvesha kalushya here is, it is anger. Opposite of forgiveness is dvesha kalushya. So when we feel anger and we don't forgive, so we start creating hatred, more hatred. And this is dvesha kalushya, which creates restlessness and impurity in mind. When someone feels sorrow, then due to undesirable tamasic thinking about pain, giving objects and unfavorable circumstances, and the cause of sadness leads to dvesha kalushya in mind. So whenever we have some unfavorable circumstances, things are not working for us, and we feel sadness, so it leads to that dvesha with others, means dislike or hatred with others. There is no scarcity of reasons for sorrow. Therefore, mind remains always sad and impure. Then sixth kalushya or impurity is called amarsha kalushya. Amarsha means trying to revenge after listening to someone's harsh word or not able to tolerate the insult by others, it is called amarsha kalusha. When we deal with people on day-to-day basis, sometimes people say some words which are not so pleasant. These words may insult you, or you are not able to tolerate those words. So the thought which arises in mind, I want to take revenge, maybe now or maybe later. So this is the impurity called amarsha kalushya. And it is like keeping a volcano blasting in the mind, and the mind remains in impurity. So these are the 6 impurities which make the mind turbulent and impure. And such mind cannot be directed to spiritual practice. Although we try, but mind constantly in the impurity, it cannot be directed towards divinity. So the solution to make the mind free from these impurities and make it one-pointed ekatattva for practice is given in this sutra. So what is, again, if we look at the sutra, what is the solution Sage Patanjali is giving? That in different situation, how to react or how to respond, you can say. So he is telling that when there is raga and irsha, that means when there is attachment and jealousy, these impurities we have. So how to deal with it? With maitri, being friendly to all. Not only one person, but being friendly to all. When there is parapakar chikirsha, that means malevolence or dvesha, hatred. In these two cases, deal with karuna, compassion. So when you see people who are suffering, have compassion on them. That means expressing the spirit of compassion to those who are suffering. Then asuya, if there is anger, then create joyfulness, mudita. So mudit, being or expressing joy at the virtues of others will help us not to be angry with ourselves or others. Then amarsha, if that is the problem, intolerance or revenge, this attitude of taking revenge, if that is the impurity we are feeling, then indifference. So with whom? Those who are non-virtuous, because there are people who are not so good to us. So those who are non-virtuous, with these kind of people, keep the attitude of indifference. Sometimes we have to ignore them. Sometimes we just keep silent. So these are the attitudes, and in different situations that we deal in on day-to-day basis. So Sage Patanjali is saying that when we are able to manage with this kind of 6 impurities and mind is purified, then only we can establish ourselves in samadhi. Samadhi is much far stage. In the beginning, first we have to purify the mind, make it one-pointed. So how to make the mind more steady? Sage Patanjali is further discussing about other techniques. So in the next sutra, Sage Patanjali is talking about the pranayam technique. He's telling in the sutra number 34, prachardana vidharanabhyam va pranasya. The steadiness of mind is achieved by expulsion and retention of breath. It is very interesting sutra. He's giving emphasis on one word, prachardana. Prachardana means exhalation, expulsion, or expiration. So he's not talking about inhalation here. He's giving more emphasis on prachardana. Although in the second book, Sage Patanjali is going to give more detail about the pranayam technique. But here, to make the mind more steady, this is one technique he's telling, by breath technique, by breath regulation technique. But he's telling prachardana vidharanabhyam means with exhalation. So why he's talking about starting pranayama or starting breathing technique with exhalation, not inhalation? He's telling to get beautiful results. So Shri Guruji has explained that with exhalation, when we start our breathing technique or pranayama, we get better results like it gives us better inhalation, because when you completely exhale, then only you can completely inhale to fill your lungs. The second thing is relinquishment of old attitudes of memories, or memories that are hindering growth. So we have lots of memories, good or bad. We have our old pattern of thinking or attitude or habits. So how do we get rid of those old negative habits or old memories, negative memories? By practice of this kind of breath regulation. With exhalation we start. Third is feeling that human beings do not live by breath alone. So it's not just the breath, but the word is pranasya. So we are regulating the prana, the vital force or life force, with the help of breath. So to feel the prana along with the breath. Then fourth benefit is understanding that exhalation is death. That is why Sage Patanjali is telling, start with exhalation. That means you feel that our life is impermanent. So exhalation is death, inhalation is life. However, prachardana vidharanabhyam va pranasya. So we can achieve steadiness of mind by practicing pranayama or breath regulation. We can achieve it. Remember, impure mind afflicted by jealousy cannot attain samadhi. And therefore, keeping friendly attitude towards happy people eliminates jealousy from mind. And when you see a happy person, you don't become jealous or intolerant with that person. Seeing a sorrowful person and feeling compassion for that person, the vice of desire to harm other is eliminated. Keeping a cheerful attitude towards virtuous people eliminates the vice of criticizing others or backbiting, paraninda. Keeping indifference towards the evil-minded people, we become free from anger. So in this way, fourfold attitude helps the yogi to become free from this painful vrittis due to rajas and tamas, and sattvic qualities are manifested. Sattvic quality means peace, balance, harmony, love. So having controlled these vrittis of mind, we practice pranayama, and then only we can attain samadhi. So through breath control or pranayama, one attains steadiness of mind. But remember, correct exhalation is to breathe out the air within through the nose. It's not, Sage Patanjali is not talking about this external breathing, but it is more focused on the internal, which we practice in Kriya Yoga. So one should breathe out the air through the nose, because there are some practices, some techniques where we breathe through the mouth. But in Kriya, especially in Kriya, we do not breathe through mouth. We always go through the nose. So expel, or you can say exhale, breathe out the air through the nose carefully and consciously. Again, two words, carefully and consciously. So consciously we practice, then only we feel the movement of prana. So pranayama also has different proper techniques of breathing in, retention, and breathing out. And such techniques should be learned directly from the instruction of a guru preceptor. Not that we can learn from book or internet, but these practices we should receive, properly learn, and then practice under the guidance of a guru preceptor or an authorized teacher. In Hatha Yoga Pradipika or other classical text of yoga, there are 10 classical pranayam techniques are mentioned, like Kapalabhati, Bhastrika, Anulom Vilom, alternate breathing, the Murcha Pranayama, Shitali Pranayama, and so on. But you will be surprised to know that we do not practice any of these. Our Kriya Pranayama is completely different technique, which does not fall into these 10 because it is based on subtle breath. So when we come to the pranayama part, we'll discuss that technique because it is mentioned by Sage Patanjali in next book. Well, this is one way to make our mind steady. And what are the other ways? So now Sage Patanjali is recommending some more techniques to make our mind one-pointed or steady. So the next, he says in the next sutra, sutra number, I'm skipping one or two here, which are not so important. Sutra number 36, it speaks about the inner light. So Sage Patanjali is saying, Vishoka va Jyotishmati. Concentration or steadiness of mind may also be attained by fixing the mind on inner light, which is beyond sorrow, Vishoka, which is beyond sorrow. So by focusing on light, one can also make the mind one-pointed, concentrated, and then go to the state of thoughtlessness. Concentration means one thought. Just to make it clear, we always go through different states of our mind. We can classify in four. One state, which is very ordinary state, when we are not doing anything or we are busy with all different types of activities in life, which is known as restless mind, because that is our natural state. So restless mind. Restless mind means, or ordinary mind, I would say. Ordinary mind means hundreds of thoughts constantly bothering us. And we allow these thoughts because we have no control. So this is ordinary mind. When we start some practice in yoga, so we slowly try to introvert the mind by focusing on certain objects, and there are some thoughts are allowed. So this is a state of contemplation. Only good thoughts or very selected thoughts are allowed where mind can move. And you might have observed during the guided meditations, there's only few commands, some good commands, or you can say sentences where you can really focus. Then as we become more introvert, we come to the state of concentration. Concentration means only one thought, one object, just one, single. It can be breath, it can be any form of divinity. However, or it can be light, sound, pulsation, some object is there, but only one, no other thought. And then the fourth state comes through practice, which is meditation. So meditation means no thought. This is how from hundreds of thoughts to selected thoughts, then one thought and thoughtlessness, we progress. It takes long time to come to this state and constant practice is required. However, to make our mind focused or make it steady, another method or another technique, Sage Patanjali is telling about the Jyoti or light. Now, this is not the ordinary light we are talking. There are two ways. Some people, they practice looking at the flame of a candle or lamp. They concentrate there because we need some object, one object only. So that is known as Trataka. And the purpose is that to concentrate, make the mind one-pointed on that object, and then let the mind completely absorb or dissolve into that object. So there is no more seen and seer. It is state of meditation, no more thought. So this is external practice. But in Kriya, it is not external. Kriya is completely internal practice. So in Kriya, we also practice. As you know, we have a technique. We have technique to see divine light, and we focus on the light. We use the divine light to concentrate. So this is Vishokava Jyotishmati. And this light, inner light, it helps us to become free from sorrow. That's why it takes us beyond sorrow. So this is one method. What is the other technique? Then there are some other also. So let's see what others. Sage Patanjali here is telling that when the mind is introverted and it is focused on the third eye, there is a manifestation of brightness. divine light, a special experience for the seekers. While closing the eyes, an ordinary person sees only darkness. But a seeker, a yogi, perceives inner light in between the eyebrows. And there, concentrating there, one can go beyond creation. As Gurudev used to say, that the technique where you see divine light, it takes you virtually beyond creation. So this is one technique. Now, about likes and dislikes, because we discussed different types of impurities. So likes and dislikes, how to get rid of those? Now Sage Patanjali is talking about that in the next sutra, and this is the sutra number 37 in the first book. Freedom from likes and dislikes. Although in this sutra, he's talking about only likes, but like is not only one vritti. When there is like, there is also dislike. Because if you like only someone, then definitely you dislike something else or someone else. So they are always together. So in Sutra 37, Sage Patanjali is telling us, Vitaraga Vishayam va Chittam. Chitta here, mind stuff. Vitaragam is the detachment. So also, he is telling also the mind of a person, especially yogi, has freedom from desires, preferences, attachments, or passions towards sense object. So what is the quality of yogi? When a yogi is trying to practice pranayam or practice concentration on divine light, inner light, then the person becomes free from desires or preferences, attachments, passions. Because these sense objects, they are constantly employed. Mind enjoys the objects of this world. And mind is so subtle, it cannot go directly to enjoy any object. So mind takes the help of agents which are known as the senses. So sense objects, sense organs, coming in touch with the sense organs, sense objects are in touch with the sense organs, and through that the mind enjoys the object of the world. But when a yogi practices ekatattva or trying to make the mind steady, then slowly the yogi becomes free from all desires, except the highest desire for liberation is there. All preferences, I like this, I don't like this, I prefer this, I don't prefer this, or passions towards the sense objects, all these things slowly get eliminated by practicing this ekatattva abhyasa. Vitaragam vishayam va chittam. Then Sage Patanjali is saying, in this sutra, we'll discuss a little bit more because it is related to likes and dislikes. The mind of each person is infected with the vice of likes and dislikes. We call it raga dvesha. And it will be more elaborately discussed in the next book. Likes bring forth attachment and dislikes bring hatred. The poison of attachment and hatred do not allow the mind to go to a higher state of realization. When a seeker gradually grows in the path of concentration and meditation, the mind is purified and pacified. Although this sutra describes that one can become free from desires, preferences, attachments, passions, in reality, it speaks about both likes and dislikes. So, because a yogi is free from both, yogi does not like something or does not dislike. Yogi is always neutral. He remains in only divinity. A yogi is truly a vitaragi. Vitaragi means who is detached, which means he is free from the oscillation of the restless mind and its likes and dislikes. You can find this word vitaraga in Bhagavad Gita, where Lord Krishna has mentioned about a yogi referring to this word vitaraga. That means a neutralized state of mind. It is a mind free from tendency of partiality and emotion. So that is vitaragi, detached. Then Sage Patanjali says that apart from concentration, as you develop Eka Tattva, your concentration becomes more deeper. Then what happens? There's another technique which will help you to be more steady, to be free from restlessness of mind. And in the next sutra, Sage Patanjali is talking about that. He's saying in sutra number 39. So this is another technique. Yatha abhimata dhyanatva. One also can attain that state of steadiness of mind by following the path in which the mind gets dissolved. So dhyanatva. By meditation, one can dissolve the mind. And truly speaking, meditation is the state where there is no thought. All our thought patterns, they completely come to a full stop. That flow we have, by concentration, we have regulated, channelized the flow of thought. And now we can completely stop that thought going into the meditative state. So initially the mind is one-pointed, and then we go beyond that, and there is no thought, no body consciousness, no other sense of the world. So this is dhyanatva. One can attain the state of steadiness, and then it leads to samadhi by following the path of meditation where mind is completely dissolved. So we'll discuss dhyana meditation more in the next book because it is more detailed there. It is just the idea Sage Patanjali is giving here. Then it comes to the next sutra, which says now after this, when Sage Patanjali said that mind is impure, so remove the impurities by certain techniques, certain attitude to follow. After that, make the mind more steady by practicing the concentration techniques, and then you enter into state of no thought, that is meditation. And then he's telling that slowly, as meditation becomes deeper, and a state comes when you are completely in a state of samadhi. Samadhi means your individual consciousness is completely merged with cosmic consciousness, not for a moment, but it's kind of, disconnect. You are one with God, and we'll discuss more when the sutras come related to those. But here Sage Patanjali is saying the state of samadhi. So in the sutra number 42, he is mentioning about savitarka samapatti, because there are different states of samadhi. So some idea will get here. We'll not go into too much detail, but little bit idea. So 42nd sutra. Tatra shabda artha jnana vikalpaihi sankirna savitarka samapatti. So there a state of samadhi characterized by transformation of thought is achieved based on the option of the word, meaning and idea being mixed up. So, Sage Patanjali is giving idea about one state of samadhi. One stage of samadhi is called savitarka. Savitarka samadhi or samapatti. Samapatti means complete dissolution. So savitarka samapatti is based on three things. What are those? Shabda, artha, and jnana. So in that state of samadhi, there is word, there is meaning, and also there is anuman. Anuman means some idea is there. What exactly does it mean? So it says savitarka samadhi. So there are three things in that state one can still feel or experience. That is shabda. Shabda means sound or word. Artha means its meaning. There is a word, its meaning, and knowledge. Jnana is knowledge. So these three still remain. So this samadhi is a limited samadhi, so the initial stages. It is said that after that one gradually attains nirvitarka samadhi. So this is the first one, savitarka. A clear perception of any object is dependent on three factors. Whenever you look at any object, so there are three factors are involved when you can see the object clearly. What are those three? Shabda means word or sound. Artha, the meaning or better understanding of that sound or word. And jnana, its knowledge with perception. I'll give the example. To have clear knowledge of anything, we have to go through these three steps. Let us think of a rose flower. Maybe red, beautiful red color, rose. Now it is a sound. When we say rose, rose is a sound or it is a word because every word has a sound. So rose, when I speak rose, it is a word, it is a sound. So this is Shabda. Now rose has its meaning because when I say rose, immediately you think of a flower that you know it is a flower. So if image of flower comes to your mind. But to have complete knowledge of rose depends on much more experience than just a word and its meaning. So you know the word rose, you know the meaning of rose, but exact or complete knowledge comes, the jnana or experience come with the knowledge or experience when you really smell it, you touch it, or you see with your own eyes. So these three factors give you complete perception of any object. Shabda, Jnana, Artha. So these three remain in the Savitarka Samadhi. What is the Shabda? Shabda here is not outside. It is the word which is called Om. So we know, we hear Om sound, we meditate or concentrate on Om sound, which is a word also, which is a sound also. And then we know the meaning, Artha, and then we experience that sound by practicing. So this is Savitark. So in Savitark, this perception is still there. We are not beyond thought completely here. Then comes the next one. Says Patanjali is talking about Nirvitarka Samadhi. So Nirvitarka means he's saying in Sutra number 43, he says Smriti Parishuddhau Swarupa Shunyam Swarupa Shunya Eva Artha Matra Nirbhasa Nirvitarka. Nirvitarka Samapatti or Samadhi, through purification of memory, the mind attains the state of calmness, freedom from its own nature. When the real knowledge of the object shine, it is the state of Nirvitarka Samadhi. So in Savitarka Samadhi, what happens? That the memory is still there, as we discussed about the example of rose. The memory is there, but through purification of memory. So memory is also purified by constant practice, and the mind becomes free from its own nature. That means the memory slowly, we get rid of that memory. And when the real knowledge of objects shine, that means it's not that we are listening to sound, but the real, we go into that sound, divine sound. This is an example. Then we attain that Nirvitark Samadhi. So there Shabda and Artha remains behind, we get rid of that. But only that object which is there, it gives the experience that what really Om sound is. So we saw that in Savitarka, Shabda, Artha, Jnana, the word or sound, meaning and knowledge, these three together are still there. But in Nirvitarka state of Samadhi or Samapatti, there is only Artha, there is only meaning, and it is Pratyaksha. Pratyaksha means direct experience. It's not that we heard that rose is like that, we heard that Om sound is very beautiful, but we are experiencing it directly. So this is Nirvitarka. There is no logic, there is only direct experience. So this is Smriti Parishuddha, but it is attained after purifying the memory. We go to Nirvitarka Samadhi. Then it is said, at the time when we hear sound, for example, Om sound. So we have its meaning and we also have knowledge, but it is indirect knowledge in Savitarka. But when we come to Nirvitarka, it is direct knowledge. So Shabda means all pervasive, primordial sound. It's not outside sound. Artha means the real object of perceiving the sound as the manifestation of divinity. Because what is the earth or meaning? That this sound is not ordinary, it is the manifestation of divinity. Then jnana means merging in this state of cosmic consciousness. These three together. So in practice of Kriya, perception of that sound is beyond the subtle and astral body. It means in the practice of Kriya, we go to the causal body because sound which we hear, it is related to causal body. Outside sound, it is related to, you can say, the gross body. However, and when we go deeper into that state, so Savitark to Nirvitark, now, Sage Patanjali says, what you experience next, you will experience Ritambhara Prajna. So it says, how I have skipped some other states. Sage Patanjali also talks about Savichar and Nirvichar Samadhi also. Vichar means thought. So even we in one then further stage of Samadhi, there is one thought or some thoughts are still there in seed form. Then Nirvichara, we become free from those seeds also. But these all different four states, Savitarka, Nirvitarka, Savichara, Nirvichara, these are very subtle states of Samadhi. They are still Sabija, means the seed or impression still is there in the subtle form. And the Sutra number 48 and 49 speaks about that. Ritambhara Tatra Prajna. So Ritambhara Tatra Prajna means there one attains, means one has come to this stage of Nirvichara, means getting rid of all thoughts now. Then a state of wisdom bearing supreme truth, it comes to us, which is called Ritambhara. So here word is Rita. Rutta, Ri means that goes or gachati, and Ta, that which stays, tishtati. So Rita means the truth that is experienced in deep meditation. So it's not only truth, it is called Rutta, which is experienced in deep meditation, that is called Ritambhara. So a state of wisdom arises where we experience the truth now. And in the next sutra, Sage Patanjali is telling, Shruta Anumana Pragyabhyam Anya Vishaya Vishesharthatvat. The wisdom that bears ultimate truth is of different kind from the knowledge gained through study of scripture and inferences. It is of the higher order because of having a specific object. So when Sage Patanjali is talking about Ritambhara, that highest state of wisdom, this wisdom is not dependent on external knowledge. It is direct experience and it is a different from the knowledge gained through the study of scripture or inference, means anumana. It is your direct experience. Well, when we come to this Ritambhara Prajna, it says Shruta Anumana. It is a higher state or it is of higher order because of having a specific object. So we do not have any more object external here. We used Om sound or any other inner object, divine light, sound, pulsation. But now we are completely free from that also in Ritambhara Prajna. Now, if a person attains this Ritambhara state, means the wisdom arises, which is all memories purified, then what happens? The next sutra tells about this state, that what happens in this state. Ritambhara Prajna means state of wisdom. By practicing, so again, we are still in deeper state of meditation and we become wise, attain this wisdom. So this wisdom also has some impression. This is wisdom has some impression. So sutra number 50, it says, Tajja sanskara anya sanskara pratibandhi. impressions from that wisdom, Ritambhara Pragya, eliminates or prevents all other impressions. Whatever previous impressions we have, they are cancelled out or they are eliminated by this new impression arising out of this Ritambhara Pragya or wisdom. So there are two words in this sutra number 50. Tat Jaha Samskara. Tat Jaha means impression of direct experience of truth. That means impression which is born out of this state of samadhi. And Anya Samskara. Anya means impressions through sensory and mental perception. Or in other words, whatever we have collected in many lifetimes, those impressions, they are completely destroyed by this new impression of Ritambhara Pragya Samadhi. Then 51 sutra, next sutra says, Tasya api nirodhe sarva nirodhat nirbijah samadhi. When the dissolution of even that samskara or impression occurs, then there is dissolution of all else and thereby nirbija samadhi is attained. So, as we discussed in the previous few sutras, sabija samadhi, there are four different savitarka, nirvitarka, savichara, nirvichara. These four states, they are known as sabija samadhi, means bija means seed. So our seed or impression is still there from previous lifetimes. And those impressions are completely destroyed by the impression which is new impression born out of Ritambhara Pragya state, a higher state. But still we are not completely free because that is sabija. So bija is still there. Then comes nirbija. So all those seeds or impression we have to get rid of. So the next higher state comes that when the dissolution of that samskara means the Ritambhara Pragya state, it also has a samskara or impression which cancels all previous impressions. But this new impression also has to be dissolved. So when the dissolution of even this samskara or impression born out of pragya, Ritambhara Pragya occurs, then there is dissolution of everything else and it is the seedless or nirbija samadhi state. I'm not taking you too much into detail because this is very philosophical, very complicated subject. By words we cannot understand, but just getting little bit idea is enough for us. So this sutra number 50 is very important sutra because many times we ask this question, oh, how to get rid of my all previous impressions in many past lives, whatever karma I did, so impressions I'm carrying. So those impressions are cancelled out when one attains this higher state of samadhi, Ritambhara Pragya. Means previous impressions are cancelled and you are creating a new impression, which is this state of highest wisdom. That also is impression. And then you can get rid of that by practicing continuously. So attain nirbija samadhi. You can destroy that seed also to become completely free from any impression. Then comes next one. Suppose we are talking about this tasya api nirodhe sarva nirodhatvat nirodhat nirbijah samadhi. There is a word which we have heard very often we have heard. Savikalpa samadhi, nirvikalpa samadhi. So vikalpa means the word has come from actually kalpa. Kalpa means thought. So sabija samadhi is savikalpa samadhi. Bija means one thought is still there that I exist. And even we say nirvikalp means ni means without. So even in nirvikalpa samadhi, that thought that I exist also is dissolved. So there's nothing except divinity. So I think nirbij, sabij and nirbij are very similar to that savikalp and nirvikalpa samadhi. However, samadhi can be explained by a person only who has achieved it or who has experienced it. For us, good is best thing is that first we need to meditate deeply, regularly, and then slowly we will go through all these different stages. Of course, when we discussed in our last class about the 9 obstacles, and before that there is a sutra uh, in which it is said, we skip that sutra, in which it is said how long one has to practice to attain the state of samadhi. There is no fixed time, but it is said in that sutra, Satu Dirgha Kale Nirantaryam. One has to practice for a long period of time. There is no fixed time mentioned here. And with love, with surrender, one has to practice. And there is word Drada Bhumi. One is more grounded in practice by uh, bringing the attitude of love while practicing or while meditating. So Drada Bhumi, how one is grounded? So there are 7 stages of samadhi also mentioned in Yoga Vasishtha, like uh, we start from Shubhecha Samadhi, the Sattapatti, Vicharini, and the 7 stages, and final is Turiya. Turiya is the Nirvikalpa Samadhi. So these are different states in different scripture. But as we practice, we go through some of these stages of samadhi. In deeper state of meditation, we can feel. For example, Shubhecha, the very first state of samadhi called Shubhecha Samadhi. They're all in between these 4 stages explained by Sage Patanjali is Sabija Samadhi. So these states, Shubhecha means Shubha means noble, Shubha means auspicious, Shubha means good, Ichha means desire. So in this state, a meditator all the times, if he has any desire, any thought, it is for the welfare of other. No negative thought remains at all, only good. So all the time thinking good of others, never think bad of others. So that state when you reach means you are not coming down, but always maintaining that state, you are in Shubhecha Samadhi. Padartha Bhavini, you are totally detached from the objects of the world. Vicharini, your mind is constantly moving in the thought of God, and no other thought can enter your mind. So these are the different stages one goes through. However, our goal is to achieve samadhi or attain this higher state. It comes only through the grace of master. No matter how much we practice, how many lifetimes we practice, our duty is to put our effort. But samadhi, especially the highest state of samadhi, nirvikalp samadhi, definitely it comes only by grace of Guru. So we have to surrender ourselves, our ego at the feet of the master. Then only we can attain the highest. We can go through different states of samadhi with our own effort. Lower states one can achieve, but highest goal only Guru can take us. Today on this special occasion of Guru Purnima, we are offering our deepest love, our respect to all the masters, to Sri Gurudev, Sri Guruji, and all the masters of Kriya Yoga lineage, as well as all the saints and sages from whom we have learned, we have received some knowledge, like Sage Patanjali, Sage Vyasa, and all different sages, saints and sages, they all are our gurus. So today on this special occasion, let us think more, meditate more, to experience something. This is not just to discuss, to feel good, but practice sincerely and achieve this goal of life. Today, tomorrow, we have to complete our homework. We have to experience samadhi. We have to be liberated. We have to be free from all our sufferings, from all the karmic relations, and go back to God. I'm praying for all of you to be more loving, more sincere, compassionate. Let us conclude today's class with prayer. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayah सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्। Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Let all become happy and healthy, loving, noble, and compassionate. May there be no suffering, no sorrow. May there be more love, peace, and harmony among all of us and in this entire creation. May the blessings of God, blessings of all the masters be upon us all and everywhere. Om. Amen. Thank you all. I'm sending my love. I'm sending my respect to all of you, bowing to all of you, perceiving presence of my master in all of you. Jai Guru.